many sounds means something. The danger one is the screechy, is the louder one. And then the whistle one is the food one. And each sound have some different things, but it took me a while to get used to it.
What are the things you remember from your childhood?
I remember a countryside with spring onions all over the place and plenty of vegetables. I just don't remember very much about my parents or nothing else. I remember somebody came from behind and blocked my face with a cloth. And I just could see her black hands. And it was just really strong person who squeezed my face, and I just felt very, very wilted. The smell was very, very strong smell. And my body didn't cope with the strength. I just couldn't fight. I was just taken away, and I remember seeing some children behind me crying.
So what happened to you after that abduction?
I think it was a long drive. It was just driving and really feels like it must have been bumpy roads, not very stable. And I think I must have fell asleep or something in between. And it was a long time. And then it was dark. And in the dark, I noticed some men carry me, or two men carry me, and felt some woodlands, a lot of plants. I could feel the brushing my, through my arms. And then they dropped me so quickly. They just really, in a rush, they dropped me there. And I just felt so tired. When I saw them going, I just didn't want them to leave me. I was worried about it. I saw their legs, one was a black one and it was a white man, moving away in shorts. And I just wanted to beg them to come back for me, not to leave me there. I kept very hoping that somebody might come back for me. It never happened. And it was a very horrible time. And didn't know where to go until the daytime came in the morning. And then I sat and cried, and I just didn't do very much. I was really confused, didn't know where to go. Until I don't know how long was it, but I heard a screech noise in the tree, and it was one of the monkeys, just one. And then it came down, one of them, and then the others follow him. And then the one came first, he's staring at me, and he keeps testing me with the finger. It's really quite strong, little monkey, which really, it kept poking at me, and I just didn't want to bother. I just didn't want to move. I just didn't want to do anything. Until some more came, and I felt a little bit better. It's a nice feeling about to see something. In that moment, I just forgot to cry, and I still was frightened about it. They were sort of very pale from the skin, and the eyes were really round. And the face was bright, like a beige, cream brown, pale brown color. And they were really fast. They're very speedy. I just remember the little eyes. They're just very rounded eyes, and it's quick in noise. They keep looking at and staring. And then they go bored with me. I don't think I wanted to do anything. They just went. And they keep coming back. They keep going and coming back. I did try to get closer to them. They didn't push me away. Well, I mean, I don't know, a few weeks or months, I have no idea, but finally they accept me. And I felt like I was part of them, this group. And I just began to climb trees with them. And I did become quite good eventually. I managed to climb a tree with great difficulties. And I just sat with them at the top. They never pushed me away. And we just, sometimes they used to come and big things in my ears, behind my ears, or they're just looking for things on me to eat. After a while, they became used to me. And suddenly one of them landed into my shoulders. Believe me, that was fantastic. Because when you isolate for days or weeks, it just a nice feeling on my shoulders. It's a comfort. It was for me. And I just began to forget who is coming for me. I just didn't bother anymore about it. Because they began to come more often, and I was more included. And for me, that was a very comfort moment.
What did you eat and drink?
Plenty water and leaves, but to be honest, I was feeling hungry. I was beginning to feel quite fancy something to eat, but I didn't know what to eat except the water. And I noticed the monkeys used to eat things. They keep eating something, and I keep watching where they're getting this food, and it just took me days to find out where they're getting the food. Except that one of them was a very good one. He used to go when some Indian people used to fall asleep, and they used to hear the sound of people falling asleep. And he went in the room very quiet, and he grew a lot of food out of this room with huge amounts of fruit. And he used to carry so much that he dropped it. And that was the first time I came out and found a banana or other things, and I picked it up quickly, but you better move, because if you don't, they take it away quickly. So I learned to eat as fast as I could, always. They used to eat berries and things. And some of them were really delicious, but some of them were really very acid. Not very nice, but you get to know the berries. Eventually, I became familiar with them, how they were getting the food. I had to learn to recognize the sounds.
So you've learned to recognize the sounds they would make,
Yes.
communicate back to them.
It took me a while, but each sound, the screechy one, you have to really be careful. You have to hide away. Many sounds means something. The danger one is the screechy, is the louder one. And then the whistle one is the food one. And each sound have some different things, but it took me a while to get used to it. I just learned from watching what they were doing when every time I hear the sound.
Did you ever had any issues because of the fruits you ate, or anything you ate that was poisonous or anything like that?
I did eventually after a while. It was quite a long time when I found a tree where they had a little velvety brown, nice, like a broad bean, like. And it had a sticky fruit inside, and it was very delicious. I just kept eating and eating and eating. I was hungry. And, but none of them seems to be interested. None of the monkeys took it away, so I had quite my share. Until hours later, I noticed my stomach. I was feeling really dizzy, very unwell. And I was just looking at the grandpa monkey, you know, we just don't have nobody else to go to, but I was just crying my eyes out because the pain was really excruciating. Until he just walked towards me, and I wasn't sure what he's going to do. And then he came close up and then he pushed me, like he was cross with me, and I became afraid. I had no idea what he was going to do, but he put me into a pond of water, which was not very pleasant. He just forcing me again. And like, I think I had my strength, and I just jumped out, and I was just feeling very sick. And I vomit, and I vomit. Until I look at his face, and I just felt something about his eyes. He didn't want to do me harm. He just stand there looking at me in peace, and he's staring at me like I didn't feel frightened anymore. I felt something he's trying to do with me, and I didn't understood. But, after I felt sick, I felt better. And I just, you know, Then I thought he was going to take me back into the... He didn't. He just left me there and then he just went away. And I understood that moment. I never forget.
Whilst you were in the jungle, have you ever seen any people?
Yes, sometimes we used to see some people stealing animals, and it was terrifying. I was just looking behind the branches inside of this tree. I decided not to come out. I didn't fancy come out there because I thought they're going to put me into the sack with the animals. I just didn't fancy doing that. And I never came out. I never let anybody see me. I used to see a black soldier occasionally with a black gun and black wellies or boots or something. And he was standing in front of the tree, and he didn't realize I was behind there, because I thought he was one of the people who went to put me into the sack if I would come out. Eventually he went, but to me there was a fear about that particular man. It was like a uniform or something.
How did you leave the jungle? What happened?
I never thought I was going to leave it. Until eventually one day, a man came. I guess he was about 40-something. She must have been a 20-year-old young girl. And I was just, she was really, looked very kind and slightly smile. And that attracts me from the mic on. I just look at her and I thought, oh, I just felt to go towards her. I just felt attracted that she was nice in my, according to my feeling, my instinct. I walked towards her because I thought she's nice. And then the man grabbed me, and he was a roofman. He just took me quickly and put me into the, it was like a, I don't know, a truck with animals inside. I began to feel really fearful about to get into that truck. I just wish I want to go back to the jungle. I had intention of getting out and go back into the jungle. I just want to go with this person because he wasn't very nice. And I was feeling a bit frightened. And then I saw a monkey in a box, and I was trying to talk to, I'm trying to communicate with him. I was trying to put a little hole. I opened a hole in the box, and he told me off not to go to that box. And I just keep looking at this monkey through the box.
Where did they take you?
They carry on driving and driving. It was a long drive. And I was, maybe it must have been afternoon, and then it goes night. And it was a lot of flashy lights, which I was terrifying to see these flashy lights. And it was a street with cars. And I never see that before. Well, maybe I'd been too long inside, and I just didn't realize about traffic or anything, so I became quite scared. Until they stopped the car, and he pulled me out with his word, with his anger. And I just felt really, I thought he was going to, I don't know what to think about. I was just really frightened. I was just looking for the jungle, but it was too late. It was a road with traffic. And they knocked at the door, at somebody's door, and they went and opened the door. And they grabbed me inside, and he just took me to this. It was a lady who came out with green eyes and long hair, and a tall lady. And then she gave me some, I don't know, I think it was money or papers. She gave me something on his hand. And the next minute I noticed these people left me with this woman. They looked very ruthless, and she had a whip in her hands. And he just turned around with a young girl, and they disappeared, and they left me, and I was feeling very, very insecure, because I just didn't want to be left in there. This woman, she used to beat me with this whip, which is really painful. It's a whip she used to carry in the waist, and she used to whip me with that, and I just didn't dare to disobey her. There were some neighbors' children. They trying to teach me how to talk and how to how to be like a child, which I couldn't, because they spot my problems. I wasn't a normal like them.
So you went into the jungle at around 4 years old. And how old do you think you were at this point?
I must have been, I have no idea, I must have been 8 or 9. It's that kind of thing. Feels like I didn't want to carry on living in there because I began to learn about the young girls in this place, and men used to come and take them or something. I think it was a brothel house. And it was a man came one day and he said, "Where is she?" And then she said, "Give her some crisps, or you give a packet of crisps, she will come to it." And I didn't. I would hide under the bed in the entrance in the sitting room. I saw them come in, and they left the door open. So I came out under the bed, and I ran as fast as I could. No shoes or anything. I just ran as fast as I could. And I left them looking for me. I was very good at stealing foods in the restaurants. They used to put a plate sausages or something on the top of the counter, and I used to pass by and get it and run faster with it. I used to have the way to climb up the tree quickly, and the police never look in the trees. They just never look at the top of the trees, but I was sure that they're not going to catch me. The lady next door, the granny, she understood what I'm going through. I think she felt I was in a great danger in this place. She heard me when I used to be beaten or something. She was very concerned about, I could feel she wanted to care for me. And I felt I never trust anybody. But when she was looking at me, I felt for the first time I could trust a human. For this, I didn't trust anybody, but there was something special about her face that my instinct told me that I should go with her and I will be all right. And I went to meet this old lady in the park. She said she was going to meet me there at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. And she took me with her, and then she sent me to her friend. She wanted to send me to her daughter in Bogota. And she sent me alone in a plane, and she bought me a beautiful dress for me and shoes. She didn't like. I just had difficulty wearing clothes because I wasn't used to wear clothes in the forest, and for me to wear these things were very uncomfortable shoes. But she trained me to use the shoes and to walk properly, like ape, and I got very offensive about it. And she said, "Give me a picture of her daughter to find her in the airport." And I did, found her daughter. And it was a great moment when a lady collected me. She brought me to her home.
When that woman in Bogota, who became your family, when she saved you and you became part of her family, how did she help you to get to the UK?
Her sister was a very rich people, and I became a nanny in this family. I think many children join my company because children are like monkeys, and we have something to connect. This is really good. They still invite me to their children's weddings, and they include me like a family, and it's related to this lady who adopted me.
Nowadays, have you ever tried, or have you ever thought about going back to the jungle or finding the jungle where you...
Yes. I want to say, I did. I saved some money. I had a job and I saved some money because this always been in my mind. I've been asking people, some professionals, how the monkey lives. And they told me they live 50 years. I saved some money and I went and caught a float. It's a coach in Colombia called a float or something. And they take you to many places. So I found out what jungle because I had no idea. This is unfortunately, I can't remember which jungle I came from. I just hoping that any jungle where the monkeys are, because I was pretty sure as soon as they see me, they're going to recognize me. And I just felt like a lost family. And I was desperate to go to see them. I just felt, I think I recognized the area. If I see the jungle, I think I will recognize because I got in my mind what it looks like. and I never saw the monkeys, and I was really frustrated. That was the only time I did. I thought I was going to find them. It never happened.
When you look back at your life and at the time you spent in the jungle, how do you feel about that period?
I felt to go back sometimes in my rough times. I did regret it coming out, but I don't now. I'm settled in the city. I'm getting comfortable. I had my 2 daughters, and that's my family today. It's the best thing that happened to me. I learned how to love people from them. It was a special for me moment.
Whilst everybody was having their orgies, free love sex, they would no longer be permitted to enjoy sex for each other. They had to fantasize that they were actually having sex with Jesus, men included.